What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the True Church of Jesus Christ with his Latter-day Saints sitting all up in the void, praising the Lord and those that keep filling them up with it. And on this episode, I'd like to strike where the iron is hot and keep on going with this faith and material consciousness and filling up our minds now with devotional science to apprehend the true goal of life, which is enlightenment. John chapter 14, I will reveal myself. So we'll get into scriptures. So in the last video, I was like, yeah, I'll preach scriptures. I'm going to preach scriptures as best as I can, but the ideas keep coming anyways, and the ideas are overflowing in scripture. But the mission of the master is to cut us out of matter. Don't, the wars will be at home and abroad. But anyways, it's all for the quest of enlightenment. Devotion. Remember, God's looking for his true worshipers. John 4, verse 24. God's a spirit, right? So to put our faith in this invisible, right? We have to have faith that there's a God. And for those who worship him must worship in truth and in spirit. So that's the key there for devotional science. And in this talk, I wanted to talk more about, like, let's say man's intelligence and how he befools himself into thinking that he's smart. See, let's say like the world's smartest man. Sorry, not smartest man. Yeah, well, you could take him. What is he smart at? The world's smartest man. Well, just topics, just the things of this world, accumulating the things that are seen in this world, and then being involved in these activities you see of, like, maybe say reading, speculating, inquiring. Being involved in that activity develops that person's nature of intelligence, and that could fool him into being smart, but it's not. It's just like someone that gets involved in MMA or fighting. They can engage their intelligence in that activity, and then that activity unfolds within their consciousness, and they become more aware of that activity. And that awareness of that skill or activity constitutes the person's intelligence of that activity. But that's not real intelligence. It's still not awareness of God. It's still not awareness of this life anyways. So man's intelligence constitutes more of this false sense of being. And not only that, but being entangled in some sort of fruit of activity where he gets his intelligence from, and therefore molds his character and gets entangled into karma, you could say. See, that's the thing with man's intelligence. It doesn't matter how smart he is. He's still, let's say 20, 30, 40, 50 years of living. He doesn't know how to live good, to even like to avoid suffering in his mind, to avoid misery in his mind. How is he going to do that for 40 years? How is he going to do that for 50 years? Man hasn't even thought that far ahead. He's not that intelligent enough. That's why the world's smartest man can't avoid catastrophe. Why? Because he's not smart enough about life. He hasn't put his faith into, the wise men about life that have inquired into these things and have solved these issues, you could say, and have given us a way. So that's why I wanted to preach the scriptures as well. And two, like, the entanglement of one's intelligence isn't necessarily the real spirit or the real true identity of one's individuality. The true identity of one is the omniscience, the one consciousness, the one intelligence. So that's why human beings fool themselves into being smart, because they engage themselves into an activity which they can be competent in, intelligent in, and that's what gives them a sense of intelligence anyways. But most human beings have, even like you could say Elon Musk, he probably has just an IQ of 100. Doesn't matter what the intelligence test says, because all that guy does is engage in economic activities. He's not too smart. If someone at that high level had all that, that's the product of what they do, and all's the result of what they do is just more economic advancement, just more ways to make money. See, that's what men think that they're smart do, that think that they're intelligent with money do, is invest. That's just the nature of their game. And they think that they're smart and intelligent by playing this game on investing more money and being smart with money. So smart, they think that they're smart. They fool themselves into thinking that they have some form of intelligence, but they're unwise about life. See, that's where they think family men are intelligent peoples, by gathering family and finding pleasure in wife and children. And that's not the case. What that does is it binds them more into just birth and death and another round of hell. So, what's more intelligent in life? To avoid hell or to live your little lifespan here on earth not knowing any better and just thinking that you're smart because you're engaged in economic activities, and that's just what other people have done through the cut rope of time as well. See, what modern men are nowadays is just a cultivation of what piece of shit cutthroat businessmen have always done. So that philosophy of how they think they're intelligent, see, they're smart in their own ways. That's what God means by every man falling away from his way and being intelligent in his own design. So men have that's all they're smart about is their own designs. So someone like him gets involved in economic advancement, thinks he's smart. He's not. He's just involved in this design. And men fool themselves of this intelligence that they've gathered from their experience because of that's the fruit of that's what is known as fruit of activities, being engaged in economic advancement. And now being engaged in this fruitive work, you're the reaper of this harvest known as karma, good and evil. So out of your good deeds of being a good businessman, or see how their devices are, they don't have to be a good, see, they don't operate off the one principle. They don't even operate off of good. They can't produce any good because they don't operate in those things. They operate off of this mode of business and their own designs, and therefore because of that they can't produce any good in their own experience. What they produce is usually 10 kids, a few wives, and a partridge in a pear tree. Nothing good. And when you ask these people about their lives, right, even though he's rich, whatever, still doesn't know anything about life. Still doesn't know, he's just a simpleton. How could someone that, you could say, quote unquote, smart, which he's not, these are just men engaged in activities of this world that adopt the intelligence of that fruitive work. See, that's their level of intelligence, and that's all they have. And when you inquire about them about life, they can't give you any answers. His biggest statement is, "Oh, there's a creative intelligence, but but what? They don't know anything else." How? It's despicable if you think about it, because he is that rich and says he's that smart, but still cannot get past the fourth grade fucking knowledge of of inquiry. Men in this day and age are absolutely dumbfounded and pathetic with their philosophical concepts and ideas, and they resorted into just clownish speculation like Scientology. That's the you want to know the pinnacle of man is his debauched, this is the idea of man now. Scientology. He didn't even progress into something even like imaginative. This is the year 2023, and this is the accumulation of man's pathetic thoughts and feelings over the past 100 years of economic and political advancement. So you know how like the Greeks developed like the Homers and the ancient poets, Aristotle. Like, it's just pathetic. Our day and age, who did it create? Tom Cruise and the fucking Scientologists? Who the hell is preaching anything? And who's even intellectual enough? Like, who is even capable of holding the jockstrap of Leonardo da Vinci? Especially, we should be producing, see, that's the thing with humanity. It's debauched fruitive activities over the past 100 years. It just got entangled into economic advancement and thinks it's smart in its own devices. And it's created men that think they're smart because they get involved in fruitive activities of economic advancement. And that's just the mode of living in this life. If you don't have a business or whatever, then you're not. Men have been fooled about the way. And still, when you ask these learned, see, these are your modern learned men, is they're just smart about money and its devices of how to stinge people out and be a fucking asshole. That's all men are smart about this day and age. They're double-minded, double standard. Yeah, people like him, like the world's richest man, they love fucking morals and ethics, but they can't apply it to themselves. They're double-minded men, hypocrites, God doesn't work in hypocrisy. Knowledge, truth will not work in hypocrisy. So it doesn't matter how rich you are. Your ideas are futile and useless and babyish. And all those people like that serve is just the devices of this mold of economics. And that's what the world calls intelligent men. That's what Bhagavad Gita says. The world will be fooled by what is known as intelligent men and people preaching atheism. That's what this, people like that are. They're just atheists. They don't believe in anything, really, because they're double-minded and too superstitious. They can't firmly put their faith into a principle. They can't do it. Why? Because they're too fucking smart for their own selves. Not for their own selves. Because if they're smart for their own selves like me, you surrender. But these people have their own intelligence, you see. They haven't surrendered enough. They haven't realized enough. They're not smart enough. That's what they trick themselves into being too smart. They think they know. They can't even answer simple questions. All they are smart in is just ripping people off. So that, and being a hypocrite, not being grounded in, and not only that, but walking in the way. It's not just like going to church for 2 weeks and saying fuck it. It's walking the way for 10, 15, 20 years. That's what God taught me in weight training. It's not just going to the gym as a New Year's person, be like, yeah, I want to lose 5 pounds and be a loser. No, it's walking that way for 10, 15 years. The Lord put that seed in my mind like 2 weeks into training. It's like, okay, you could lose your weight and you could look like whatever you're going to look like. But what the fuck else are you going to do now? Like the pictures I have on Facebook of myself, that's like 1.5 years into training. That's why the Lord's like, listen, you clown, you could get results as whatever you want, but what the hell are you going to do after you accomplish your quote-unquote goal, after you've hit your intellectual peak in this endeavor? And what else are you going to do? Now you're too smart for your own good, you see. You go to the gym, get your results, and now what? See, that's what discipline, faith, you have to still keep going. That's what the demand of the lifestyle is. He taught me that lifting weights. And that's a huge transition over to the gospel. You're going to have to stay dedicated and committed into this way, regardless if other quote-unquote modern learned men with their limited intelligence about life, they can't answer anything about nothing. They haven't fought any adversities. The only adversity these clowns fight is just when the rockets explode in the sky. Big freaking deal. It all costs time and money. And this guy has all that. If he doesn't have time and money, then how else is he going to do his economic advancements? See, that's when man gets all agitated in his mind, when he can't do the things he wants to do. And when people haven't came to that point in life yet, see, they haven't reached truth. They haven't reached putting the faith in the invisible, the Spirit of God. And that's now, and it doesn't matter at man's point. It doesn't matter how smart he is. He's still under the false ego, 3 modes of material nature, and birth and death. He doesn't know any truth about life. He doesn't know the goal of life. He thinks now, like these New Agers, right? They want to plan out their future lifetimes all the way into hell. When you're in material creation, the only fucking way out now is either through God or you go to hell. Do learned men know? See, that's the Oriental tradition. That's why they knew the way. Lao Tzu. Men do not, that's what God said over the new scriptures with book 2 of Ezra, chapter 7. The way is going to be lost, all truth. Men don't know nothing about nothing. They're all in darkness. And they think now that engaging in these activities are their intelligence. So they think men are so smart because now they engage in some activity of the world and they've developed some competency in it. Well, most people have 100 IQ. And even like your scientists aren't too far away from, they're like 120, 150. So the most they can do after just eating and having sex is think about science. So that's what constitutes about 150 IQ, is thinking about other things other than sex and your stomach. It's pretty pathetic. That's what if you don't surrender to the Lord, then he won't be able to reveal anything to you, won't be able to give. That's the intelligence of the Lord, is his glory. He can't glorify you. He can't be able to lighten the light that enlightens all men within you. And he won't be able to give you any truth of spiritual wisdom. That's spiritual science. So that's the thing with human beings, is understanding that you're like, let's say if I just would have lifted weights for like on that path, I just would have had intelligence about just that, and that's it. And my mind would have just been more in the rat cage of trying to inquire and to see about God. It would have never been satisfied. So that's the thing too. Like, men could have their things of this world, but their minds are never satisfied about this truth. They're always in the darkness, or not only that, they could be a part of it anyways, playing the game of this world and being a part of that darkness. So you never really know. You have to walk this way with God, and He'll reveal His only begotten Son. Or else, to most people, all this is just a book. It's incomprehensible as well. How come the world's smartest, richest man, right? He's smart. How come he can't understand the gospel? If he's that smart, why can't he understand it? To most human beings, this is a mystery. God will show you the mysteries. That's what my channel's been all about. If people were so smart, then why can't they tell you just a simple gospel? I don't know. It's because God doesn't tell. God keeps all of that hidden from just simpletons. That was the part of Matthew 11. He's hid these things from the wise and people that think they're clever, people that think they're smart. He's hid all of his secrets from all the Elon Musks and all of those like guys that Eckhart Tolle's and the dudes with their beards tickling their nutsack, getting carried in by effing people on their, just like a trolley. It's like some four guys and this freaking guy on a throne getting carried with entrance music, bruh. Shawn Michaels entrance music. The Heartbreak Kid preaching the gospel to some just insignificant noobs. Dumb white people, mostly, in these crowds. I just could not believe the state of man nowadays. He doesn't have a Leonardo da Vinci. He doesn't have anyone intelligent. There's nobody. No one. They think Joe Rogan's like the fucking. Oh my God. How fucking far down humanity has fell if they think that like Joe Rogan's like the, well, fuck, whatever. Just the archive of modern knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Just like people are unfamiliar with historical figures, I guess. And certain times when the Lord's light was with humanity, and it showed because humanity had historical thinkers all throughout certain epochs of time. And what I noticed in this epoch of time, there is no notable thinkers. None. Nobody. At least over the past 100 fucking years, there hasn't been like a nobody. No one notable at all to be like, oh, this guy's mind is fucking, we should be picking him apart. You know what I mean? Nobody. Maybe like Nikola Tesla. People haven't been unfamiliar with Rudolf Steiner. He's a what they call something else other than a genius. I forgot right now, but it's like a multiple genius. He's a genius in many fields. I forgot what that term. A polymath. See, people don't even know. He's a genius in multiple fields. So he's a professional. He's a master, not just in math and English, but all the subjects. He's a polymath. So we don't have any of those people now. All that's gone. God doesn't. I guess God's light ain't shining here. Not in this industrial corrupt age. Like that's what the end times are all about. And He ain't giving anybody any transcendental knowledge. No, nobody, nothing. I don't see anybody. I don't know, man. What? There's nobody. Nobody out there. What, Ben Shapiro and your fucking Joe Rogans? You got to give me a break. These guys. See, those guys think they're smart because they're engaged in their activity, and that's what gives them their sense of intelligence. Meanwhile, Ben Shapiro probably couldn't even serve you a coffee at fucking Tim Hortons. He's probably too incompetent to hold the door for you. He wouldn't even know what's good. Why? Because they're engaged in their own sense of good and activity and intelligence. They wouldn't be able to do any other activity. They can't commit themselves to any form other than just their own nonsense too, especially some of these political figures. They can't do anything else but be a suit dummy and preach their rhetoric. just their own sense of intelligence, battling other suit dummies about nonsensical political views. Holy crap, the human being loves identification, form and effect, and just battling over fucking nonsensical views that are irrelevant to his daily living in the first place. That's what I realize about all these fucking people. When they wake up and piss and shit in the morning, they have all of these assembly of people inside their own heads already arguing. And it has nothing to do with them taking a piss and shit too, bro. You're sitting there, you got to wiggle it off and wipe it off and make your fucking toast in the morning. Where are all these people you're arguing with? Where are all these dumb ideas? See, it's all these people engaged in this ridiculous sense of life that is not even relevant to time and space. They just make their own crap. That's how bored mankind is nowadays with his sense of democracy and freedom. They just, all these peons that think they're smart because they go to these think tanks known as universities and they get a sense of intelligence there. And they're creating, what are they creating? Bickering and arguing. That's why this is the dark age. None of these people are constructive, especially your political figures in our modern age. That girl, Alexandria Card, whatever the fuck her name is, bickering and arguing, being stupid, saying we don't need Marshall Dillons anymore, no cops in your fucking towns. Are you retarded, lady? Yes. That's how these people are. Fucking stupid. And that's the fucking modern age. They just produce dummies that fight and quarrel. That's the age of darkness. That's what the age of darkness is all about. Fighting, quarreling, being stupid. That's all your fucking modern people are. Especially in your political scene. What are they doing over there? They're not cooperating with each other. That's for damn sure. They're not coming up with reasonable situations to solve any problems, it doesn't seem, because we've had problems the same for a good 100, at least long fucking time. Same problems. So nothing gets solved. Man just thinks he gets more intelligent because he's engaged in these false sense of activities like economic advancement and political affairs. He thinks he's intelligent because he's amassed amount of money, went to some school, and now they're smart in their own ways of biting, devouring, and consuming one another, not getting anything done, quarreling amongst one another, like these two-party systems in politics. There shouldn't be. Why is there a two-party system? No one knows. There is not like a reasonable answer. What this is just a fucking racket and a circus. And just some way to trick people to get involved in this fucking to their racketeering business. You don't need, let's see, their politics, right? Why would you fight? It's like having a household, right? Would you want to fight with your fucking wife every day? If you like doing that, that's why we have the state of affairs as it is. Why in politics are there's all these different parties fighting? What the fuck is that? First, I would kill all you motherfuckers and establish people that can cooperate with each other. And if you can't do that with these principles that we set in politics, then get the fuck out of here. Because you can't be changing with these legislations every day. You can't be changing your laws to whatever the fuck you want to do. That's what these assholes are put in Parliament for, is to uphold these principles that were given to us by the fucking founding fathers. Oh, but they like to change, bite, devour. The human being likes to do other things instead of abiding by principles anyway. So that's what our governments are in the first place. People that think they're fucking smart, and they're not. They're just corrupt with their own intelligence. And not only that, but they have so much stupid ideas that it's not even funny anymore. I'm tired of fucking bashing human beings, thinking that they're fucking smart. They're useless towards one another. And the idea behind that politics of your two-party system is just a joke. If you can't have a council with people fucking working together under one banner, then see that's the evil. It's just opposition. Why do we have opposition in these forms, especially that are vital to life? It's the spiritual, because man can't fucking change. Man tries. See, man tries. Man tries to kill other men too because he doesn't like this fucking shit anyways. That's what Cuba was all about. Fidel Castro and all those fucks were tired of their politics and they killed their leaders and he took over. See, people would think that's barbaric, not me. That we need that kind of reform in this fucking country or in all the places on the world because this corrupt system will not fucking change because people think it's the way. They're smart. This is how man should be running things on this earth by other people that think they're smart, arguing about stuff, and it's utterly useless. This way is useless. Why haven't man thought about anything better? They have, but the people in power don't want any other way. So why do the average people engage? The people like my age, when you're born in the 80s, you should not be engaging in politics whatsoever. Are you fucking stupid? That's what I gotta label you as now. Or just absolutely retarded. Are you gonna fucking believe that your vote makes any difference in this corrupt system? If you do, then you are. That's how being a part of the clown show. That's how I was calling people and basically being a telemarketer and getting money out of people. Because fucking people don't know any better. It's just the fucking circus. You call them. That's why the circus people call you marks. That's why Vince McMahon calls people marks because they believe in the fucking shit that he's selling, and it's hot garbage these days. And so is politics. Men that think they're fucking smart go to their corrupt ways, and there ain't no other way. There's lots of other ways. There's tons of different approaches, but why doesn't men do it? Because he thinks he's fucking smart, or there's two other smart people too that are just caring about being one with the universe, or developing stupid religious ideologies, or bickering and arguing about fucking gender and rights about men and freedom. What the fuck are you arguing about? The founding fathers already gave you guys freedom. All these people now, like these Ben Shapiro guys and all these fucking assholes arguing about freedom and rights. You fucking cocksuckers already have enough of it. You have too much. And not only that, you got too much money on top of these fucking fake rights that you have anyways. That the founding fathers already killed the whole native entire population for. So this is modern man and how effing retarded he's fallen. He doesn't have any light in the world. That's what the scripture doesn't have any fucking Leonardo da Vinci's these days. He's got people fighting and arguing about rights that were already in the Constitution. If anybody is fighting about their rights, all they have to do is just read the Constitution. You're already given whatever right the fuck you have. You're already crying about. So why is there any groups arguing about whatever see, man creates division. That's all Caesar's Rome. That's why they said this society is like Caesar's Rome. It's no different because Caesar divides, bites, consumes, and devours. And divide the people how? Rights, ideas. They did it fucking back. They mastermind people back in Rome way back then. Because the Greeks with their intellectual discernment, see, back then people don't even know. The logical capacities of man were increased into now trapping man into more of a form and effective idea. So how do you think politics? The ancient Greece gave you what? The form of democracy. The man's intelligence, you see, back then developed all these corrupt systems. Man, not man. Man created democracy, and it's from ancient Greece. So why do we see there too? We're flying, people, fucking people. We're flying shit to Mars, okay? You fucking people are buying phones every goddamn year. But yet we can't change our politics. It's 3,000 years old. You know, doesn't make any sense. That's why the human being doesn't make it. He is in hypocrisy himself. All because of Caesar's Rome. It's the past coming back. That's what I don't want to call them conspiracy theorists because they're not. This is Rome all over again because of how the people are. All divided, crying about rights that they already have, And they're so fucking far off in darkness and not in unity about their national. That's their, being one nation. No one's one nation when you're crying about being secular. I'm a this and here's my right. What are you talking about? You're an American and you got American rights. See, people don't embrace any principles. And God's the same way. If you don't embrace the one consciousness, then God's not going to give you any light. That's why, like, even embracing a nationalistic idea, it's useless these days. Patriotism. You have to basically say, like, I'm a Canadian, right? And my rights are in this Constitution, not what I make up. That's what being a Canadian is all about, not what people think it's all about. So the country killed people and gave rights to you. That's your right, whatever the country tells you to, because they killed people for it. And if you don't agree with your country's rights, well, that's a little bit too bad now. You're going to have to either abide. See, that's what people don't like about God either. People don't like principles. They don't like abiding in the word. If you don't like your country, then go back where you came from or abide where you are now. Which is, see all these people crying about freedoms and crying about being this and being that. They can already do whatever. Like even like the transgendered people crying about rolling your dick up into a pussy. You could already do that. You're free. That's the founding fathers. You don't have to cry about it. You don't have to gather support groups and make people aware with your woke movements or whatever the fuck. You people already have the freedom to go destroy your lives anyways. You don't have to throw it. See, that's all man's agenda. He's too busy creating separation. People already have the freedom to do whatever they want. They don't have to advertise. But according to man, he does. Because he doesn't have the rights. What is he talking about? He has the rights to do whatever he wants. Oh, but some state... No, it doesn't matter. He's in the United States, right? So let's say if some guy, transgendered guy, is denied the operation in his state, he's a United States citizen. He goes somewhere else in the States and do it. He's not denied any right, actually. He's just, oh, in this county, maybe they don't do that. So what? He's in the United States. And somewhere else in the United fucking States does it. And these people could just go there and do it. Instead of crying. They're not denied any fucking right. Are they? Because they still live in the fucking States. And they could go to wherever the fuck they can in the States and get that fucking shit done somewhere else in the United fucking States. People don't think. They want like a fucking McDonald operation just in their backyard everywhere. What are you like? You know, that requires now, like, again, arguing, bickering, crying, gathering resources, creating new fucking... You don't have to... That's the man. Man should not have what he has. That's what I'm trying to say, is he's stealing, like John chapter 10, I was saying before, the pearls of God, like this freedom. Man nowadays is too stupid to have freedom. Like the most ridiculous thing, even my brother showed me like a couple days ago. Kids think they're fucking cats, and they're called furries. And now, now they're identifying themselves. See this identification now. Man thinks he's too free, and that's the corruption of Satan. That's the light that's the light that fell actually, and it's luring man to this false sense of freedom. So now what? Man's smart, and he thinks he's a cat. I mean, that's like, you can't give freedom to, and two, I have the right to do whatever I want. I could think how, you can't give rights to people. They're too stupid. I swear to God. I'm not fucking down for people like that having rights. Because then they want to become cats, or they want to fucking have their genitalia changed. And then they want to create quarreling, nonsense, and bickering and arguing in this fucking world and make everyone's head sick. That's the thing too, should man, and he's now more corrupt than he's ever been. That's why the Christ event, the second coming, he's going to get judged for this fucking corruption. Because he could wake up and all of a sudden think he's free, and his intellectual idea blaspheme his own self and say, I'm a woman, like some other dudes do. They wake up and say, oh, I'm a girl. and then go out and fulfill that in the world because they're free to do it. Oh well. See, that's the thing with man, thinking he's too smart. He grabbed Prometheus's light, and he thinks now he's free. He can just do fucking whatever, right? That's what Atlantis got destroyed for. Being too free, even in science and or technology. Just not abiding by any way, too. Man loves his freedom. You can't fucking tell this man what to do anyways. That's why he gets judged and fucking destroyed. It's that simple. And the thing, too, that people want to talk shit about God and the Old Testament God, he's not fucking evil. God ain't evil. Man is, because he does whatever he wants. And God warns him. That's why he sends the prophets. Hey, you remember your creator, remember me? And people don't want to. That's what the fall of Jerusalem was all about. All they wanted to just sacrifice their fucking kids to Baal. Okay, well, good. God's going to destroy you. That's the thing here, too, about the second coming, the angels destroying a third of mankind. You don't want to repent for your fucking idol worship, your gold worship, your silver worship, your corrupt ways. You get destroyed. Because this universe isn't yours. You can't just do whatever you want. That's the thing about the Tower of Babel story. God isn't evil there either. Even though in Scripture it makes him out to be. But we weren't given that full revelation of God's in the book of Jasher, I think, or in the book of Jubilees. You get more of the full story of the Tower of Babel. Oh, man was doing whatever he wants, and he was under one tongue. But guess what he was doing? He was blaspheming God. He tried to build that fucking tower to go storm the throne of God and take the man with his ideas. He tried to go storm heaven with his tower and fucking take God's throne. That's why God destroyed the tower and confused the tongue of man. Because man's a fucking asshole. He doesn't respect his creator. He never did. And God destroys him for that. Like your fucking parents. If you get out of line, right? If I had a stupid kid that thinks he's a cat, well, he's getting a taste of my backhand and a fucking trip to the closet for a couple hours where he's going to have some silence and he's going to have some fucking real reality when his mind and his fucking body confront him in the silence and darkness in a closet. You idiot kids. That's what God says too. Who the hell do you think you are? You get cut down and destroyed, actually. So man is very audacious. And he was blaspheming his creator then, just like he's doing it nowadays with this freedom idea. That's why this day they're getting judged hard, because this freedom idea is just too much. Man thinks he's smart, intelligent in his own ways, his own devices. He puts on a fucking suit and tie, argues with other idiots about nonsensical beliefs, about freedom that he already has. And he just makes everybody else's life miserable. Because man himself is a miserable creature without the Spirit of God. It's also what it teaches us here too in Scripture. And not only that, but in man's miserable state, he won't worship the Spirit of God either. He'll still argue, bite, devour, consume, think he's smart, raise a family after too. Like these miserable people in their stupid minds have 3 or 4 kids. You can't say that's from the Lord, dog. That's all from their mental concoctions of self-speculation and grand delusion. See, humanity thinks they're a creator, and they're not. Only God is the creator. Man only creates with his limited intelligence by what is seen and his genitalia, which he thinks he creates life. He's sadly mistaken. Those that are under the law don't even exist under the sight of the Lord. They have to be reborn and have the light of God in them, and then you have the light, the truth, and the way. That's all in Scripture. Because man's already dead from the first fall of grace. That's why this ministry. You don't even exist. See, all of man's thinking, feeling, all of his fruitive activities, it has to all go towards God and self-realization, or else he's already dead from the first fall. That's what they taught. He's already dead from the fall of grace. He's already away from the life. And he thinks he's already living here. So, good luck with that living, you know? And that's another thing, too. Now that the other people, living entities, think that they're living, they're causing misery for everybody else. Man can't make anything but death and misery. That's his history, is death and misery, and spreading it all across the globe. He has little points of time where there's like a little bit of light, but it's only like for 50 years. It disappears. And that man's back to his miserable warlike ways. So this is now your individual responsibility. Getting yourself up into the kingdom of God yourself. And two, dropping your own intelligence. You're not smart. Only God is. Or else you'll end up like a suit dummy arguing about useless nonsense. It's up to you guys. So thanks a lot for tuning in. Until next time, take care.